On the news, more struggles for Nigerians in diaspora as the government mandates 300,000 naira quarantine fee. Business and religious activities reopen as more states ease lockdown. And US slams more allegations on China over handling of COVID-19 pandemic. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Annetta Felix. Besides covering the cost of their flights, Nigerians in the diaspora who wish to return home due to the COVID-19 pandemic will now have to pay for their feeding and accommodation during the mandatory 14-day quarantine. This will cost approximately 300,000 naira. In a letter sent to stranded citizens via the Nigerian embassy in Kuwait, Thailand and India, the Nigerian government said any individual that refuses to pay for the quarantine fee will not be allowed to board the flight. The letters were dated May 13th and 14th, respectively. The letter pegged daily accommodation at 15,000 naira and multiplied it by 16 days to arrive at 240,000 naira. It adds that feeding would cost 3,600 naira daily and 57,600 naira in total. In the past 2 weeks, the federal government has repatriated over 600 Nigerians from Dubai, the UK and the US, placing them in various hotels across the country for quarantine and covering the cost. The government says over 4,000 Nigerians from 75 countries have indicated interest to be brought back home. The federal government says there are no conclusions yet with regards to the strange deaths in Kano State. Health Minister Osage Hanire, who announced this at the daily briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, also revealed that strange deaths have been reported in about 7 other states in the country. No fewer than 150 people died mysteriously in the space of 2 weeks in Kano State, prompting investigations to determine whether the fatalities were related to COVID-19. He gave the assurance that the ministry would continue to investigate these deaths to unravel the cause. Earlier this month, head of the health team deployed to Kano to support with the investigations revealed that some of the deaths was COVID-19 related. Business and religious activities have resumed in Adamawa and Gombe State following the indefinite suspension of a lockdown imposed to contain the spread of COVID-19. The government of both states on Thursday ordered the easing of the lockdown amid declining cases of the illness. In a statement on Thursday, Press Secretary to Governor Amadu Fintiri of Adamawa said churches, mosques and markets can now open for activities but must ensure social distancing with no more than 50 people at a time. On his part, Inuwa Yahaya, governor of Gombe, said the decision followed assurances from religious leaders to comply with all health directives on the COVID-19 pandemic. Gombe and Adamawa have recorded 119 and 21 cases of COVID-19, respectively. The Kwara State Technical Committee on COVID-19 pandemic has asked the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Ayinla Abubakar, to proceed on indefinite suspension. The State Deputy Governor and Chairman of the committee, Kayode Alabi, announced this in a statement on Thursday. He explained that the decision followed the mishandling of a COVID-19 patient during evacuation. The governor had earlier ordered the dismissal of a driver attached to the state's COVID-19 response team after a viral video showed him moving a COVID-19 patient from a building to his ambulance without any protective equipment. Queries were also issued to top health officials in the Ministry of Health for failing to act with necessary caution and expertise in handling of the incident. As the world battles the coronavirus pandemic, it also faces a challenge with the scarcity of items like hand sanitizers. In Nigeria, local manufacturers are taking on this challenge, milking the business opportunity while saving lives. There's more in this report. Mixing aloe vera gel, ethanol and essential oils, Stephanie Sudangi produces a batch of hand sanitizers. Her antimicrobial hand sanitizer is arguably one of the most sought after in Nigeria at the moment, serving as an alternative to hand washing with soap and water to prevent COVID-19. The chemist and doctor of acupuncture has been formulating beauty and household products for the past 10 years, but she switched to making hand sanitizers to fill the global gap in supply.
Nigeria depends on importation I myself, as a chemist, I didn't even put my interest in it. I was also buying the imported material until this need arose, and we found out that the borders are closed. We can no more import anything. So I decided to go into production of sanitizer to help meet the demand, so that save one person, you save all of us.
COVID-19 has crippled many sectors globally, but it has also presented opportunities for entrepreneurs like Stephanie, who in turn are creating job opportunities for others.
As I speak to you, I cannot even meet the demand, because I actually started on a small scale so that my customers, my immediate customers, can have it available. But I see some pharmacies coming to me, some superstore also calling me that they are in need, and the demand is high. The workload is too much on me. I am the quality control, I am the quantity control person, I am the purchasing manager, production manager, packaging and all that. So it's a whole lot of load to carry. So I look forward to creating more job opportunities for people out there who are interested in going into production.
Beyond the business of it, Stephanie says she's motivated by the desire to see people living healthy lives. She advises Nigerians to maintain hygienic practices beyond COVID-19.
Nigerians need to practice the use of hand sanitizer or soap to wash their hands as often as possible. Washing of hands and the use of sanitizers should not come to stop when COVID leaves. It has to be imbibed in us. We have to continue the practice because, like they say, health is wealth.
As the COVID-19 toll continues to rise, Nigerians are keenly reliant on local hand sanitizers manufacturers like Stephanie to stay safe. Annetta Felix, TV360, Nigeria. The coronavirus pandemic has created an opportunity for the Nigerian people and government to have a reset in critical sectors of the economy and social services. This is according to the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, who noted that the pandemic has affected the lives and livelihoods of Nigerians in different ways. He said this on Thursday at the virtual launch of the Nigeria Solidarity Support Fund, NSSF, from his office in Abuja on the effects of COVID-19 on the economy. The Vice President said the establishment of the fund will support the creation of a stronger, more resilient and more inclusive political economy and healthcare system. The Vice President also noted that the deep plunge in oil earnings, as well as the disruptions to business and commerce on account of lockdowns, have meant that the nation must develop a comprehensive economic response to survive. Director General of the World Health Organization has condemned the attack on a hospital in Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, which killed and wounded dozens of people. Describing the incident as very sad, he charged all stakeholders to put aside their differences and work towards eradicating the pandemic.
I was shocked and appalled to hear of the attack on an MSF hospital in Afghanistan, which led to the deaths of nurses, mothers, and babies. Civilians and health workers should never be a target. And as my colleague and dear friend Mike Rand said last week, the weaponization of health is not helping anywhere. We need health and peace. We need peace for health and health for peace. And we need it now. In the time of a global pandemic, I urge all stakeholders to put aside politics and prioritize peace, a global ceasefire, and ending this pandemic together.
The health body also described the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on global development goals, saying it has slowed the progress considerably.
Today, the 2020 World Health Statistics were published by WHO. There is good news that overall people around the world are living both longer and healthier lives. The biggest gains were reported in low-income countries, which saw life expectancy rise by more than a fifth since the turn of the millennium. Better maternal and child health care has led to halving of a child mortality since the year 2000, an achievement for the world. Furthermore, lower-income countries dramatically scaled up access to services to prevent and treat HIV, malaria, tuberculosis, as well as a number of neglected tropical diseases such as guinea worm. However, the report reflects that the rate of progress is too slow to meet the Sustainable Development Goals and will be further thrown off track by COVID-19.
The U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, says China blocks the World Health Organization from sounding the alarm on COVID-19 in January 2020. According to U.S. local media Newsweek, the intelligence agency says China was stockpiling medical supplies from around the world at the time. The news website said, according to CIA documents, the Asian country threatened the World Health Body that it would stop cooperating with its investigations into the disease if it declared an emergency. The Chinese government has, however, denied these allegations. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has since cut funding to the WHO, blaming the health agency for the global spread of the disease. We'll take a break now, and News Now will return shortly.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Mohammed, has ordered the heads of various courts to immediately speed up the trial of cases and the congestion of custodial centers in the country. In a statement he personally signed on Friday, Mohammed said there was a need to speed up cases in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. In the statement, the chairman of the National Judicial Council added that the United Nations has called for the reduction in the population of prison inmates to aid physical distancing in such facilities. He therefore urged the heads of courts to urgently visit all custodial and correctional centers within their jurisdictions to identify and release deserving inmates. Justice Mohammed recommended the conditional and unconditional release and payment of fines of persons awaiting trial. A federal high court sitting in Asaba, Delta State, has awarded the sum of 10 million naira to a businessman, Anthony Okoli, who was arrested in 2019 by the Department of State Service. The DSS had detained Okoli for 10 weeks for purchasing a SIM card that was previously used by President Muhammadu Buhari's daughter, Hanan. Okoli had sued the DSS, President Buhari's daughter, and MTN Nigeria over violation of his fundamental human rights. In his ruling on Thursday, Justice Nnamdi Dimgba held that the DSS illegally violated Okoli's rights to personal liberty by detaining him beyond the constitutionally approved period and granted him the sum of 10 million naira as damages. National Security Advisor Babagana Mungono said the federal government is doing everything possible to address security challenges in the country. Mungono gave the assurance while addressing journalists after a meeting of President Muhammadu Buhari and service chiefs in the country. admitting that kidnapping and other ill vices is on the rise. Mongono called for collective action among security agencies and other stakeholders to address the issue.
Today's meeting, his brief was mainly focused on the current situation, areas that need urgent attention, and possible solutions. After the briefing of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, I, as the National Security Advisor, presented a couple of memos to Council in relation to the current security challenges faced by Nigeria. And of course, these are issues that revolve around the insurgency in the northeast, armed banditry, emergence of all kinds of groups that are not essentially bona fide. And I also highlighted other issues that are related to the problems of kidnapping, which we notice has been on the increase in recent times. But the most important thing was that I stressed to Council that there's a need for collective action, not just by the security agencies, but by all agencies, ministries, departments, and agencies of government, as well as civil societies and other non-governmental organizations within Nigeria. You of course know that we're all firmly in the crosshairs of all kinds of criminal elements trying to undermine national security. Mr. President noted all the issues raised, and of course, in due time, he will be able to address these issues.
The Nigerian army has killed no fewer than 61 Boko Haram terrorists and ISWAP criminals in the past 1 week. Coordinator of the Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, said this during a briefing on the operations of the military in Abuja on Thursday. Enenche added that the de-radicalization, rehabilitation and reintegration program for repentant terrorists is underway, adding that there are indications that more terrorists are willing to surrender. He called on parents, traditional rulers, religious leaders to urge their wards and children not to succumb to inducements by the Boko Haram terrorists for recruitment.
One of such moves was the dropping off of 72 family members of BHT ISWAP members at the entrance of Ngala town in Ngala local government area of Borno State on the 10th of May around 8:30 p.m. This comprised of 33 women and 39 children. All of them are in the custody of troops for further action. The de-radicalization, rehabilitation and reintegration program for ex-fighters under Operation Safe Corridor has recorded tremendous successes. I am saying this so that they will be hearing wherever they are to know that the program is still on. So far, 280 clients have successfully undergone the program and have been integrated into the society. 25 of this number were Nigerians who were sent back to their country. At present, we have 603 clients who are due to pass out in June. Hopefully, if conditions permit, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it will still hold. Otherwise, it may have to be shifted. With this, other fighters are hereby encouraged to come out of the bush and hideouts to surrender accordingly. That is the message here. The military high command is equally using this medium to request parents, traditional rulers, community, opinion and religious leaders to urge their children and wards not to succumb to the inducements by the BHG or ISWAP for recruitment into their fold, because the temporarily surviving terrorists are now in dire need of fighters. A very, very serious warning, very, very serious advice that should go down to every level, particularly in the Northeast.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, says the federal government has been amputating lecturers' salaries with the Integrated Payment and Personnel Information System, IPPIS. Speaking with newsmen on Thursday, ASU President Biodun Ogunyemi said the federal government paid lecturers who were not registered on the IPPIS without capturing their biometrics and other information. In March, the federal government stopped paying salaries of lecturers and all workers in tertiary institutions who are not enrolled in the IPPIS. Some lecturers who are not on the IPPIS threatened to embark on strike action if they did not receive their salaries but were later paid. ASU has now rejected the federal government's directive for workers to enroll in the centralized payroll system, saying it would affect the autonomy of universities. Let's take a break now and we'll be right back.
James, I don't know, you need to answer your call. This. Hello?
Is this Mr. Peter? I'm calling from the NCDC. Your friend, Mr. James Okripocha, was brought in this morning and tested positive for the coronavirus. He mentioned that he had been in close contact with you.
God forbid bad thing.
Sir, I am not saying that you have the virus, but you have spent some time with him over the past 14 days and it is better if you self-isolate immediately.
I don't know any James at all. Even only James in the Bible that I know as a good Christian.
Sir, he showed us pictures.
Now, wow. If you have come in contact with someone who has tested positive for the coronavirus, self-isolating is key to protecting those around you. Remember, viruses don't move, people do. Stopping the spread is in your hands.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
You're welcome back. Here's Fidelia Aguncha with the business stories.
Thank you very much, Aneta. Tuta one of the most devastating pests affecting tomato crops, has resurfaced in Kano State, destroying farms. Kano State Chairman of Tomato Outgrowers Association of Nigeria, Togan, Sani Danladi, has revealed this to newsmen in an interview on Thursday. Tuta is a species of moth. It is also known by the name tomato leaf miner or tomato Ebola. In 2016, Tuta ravaged many tomato farms across Nigeria. It was also reported that tomato farmers in Kano State alone lost over 2 billion naira to this disease. Oil prices rose on Friday after data showed demand for crude picking up in China, boosting hopes that a global supply overhang may start to fade. Brent is trading at $32.40 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures is trading at $28.52 a barrel. Barclays Commodity Research on Friday raised its oil price forecast for this year and 2021, buoyed by supply cuts to balance the demand erosion caused by coronavirus-led restrictions. The bank upgraded its forecast for Brent crude and WTI futures by $5 to $6 per barrel for 2020 and $16 per barrel for 2021. We'll now shift focus to the stock market after this break. Key market indices at the Nigeria Stock Exchange is closing flat today, despite the ratio of gainers to losers coming in at 18 to 13. Now, a closer look at the market activities for today shows that it was actually quite a busy day for investors, as over 221 million shares valued at 2.4 billion naira exchange hands in 4,330 deals. But the gains still did not outweigh the losses seen today. Now, leading the pack of gainers, we have Presco right here, closing the week at 40 naira and 0.5 kobo. It was also a good day for Stanbic IBTC Bank, Natscon Allied PLC, and Guarantee Trust Bank sitting on the fourth spot of the gainers chart. While on the flip side, we have Dangote Cement really pulling the market down. It's closing the week at 143 naira, and it's actually began trading today at 146 naira, showing that it dropped at about 3 naira. CNI leasing is the second biggest faller today, while MTN Nigeria and Guinness Nigeria sit on the third and fourth spot of the losers chart. And to the global scene, the FTSE and Nikkei are having a good day, rising by 1.07% and 0.62%, as investors seem to gain more confidence in the market with a rise in oil prices, but the Dow is falling, this time by 1.00%. That's it from the world of business. It's back to Nata Felix.
Thanks for the business update, Fidelia. Moving on now, Mozambique's army says it has killed 50 suspected jihadists in a two-day anti-terror operation following a series of insurgent attacks in northern Cabo Delgado region of the country this week. Interior Minister said soldiers intercepted a convoy of insurgents on Wednesday, destroying their vehicles and killing 42 in the process. Another 8 were killed after the military quashed an attempted assault in a district early on Thursday. About 20 attacks were reportedly launched on 11 Cabo Delgado villages between May 3rd and 12th, in which terrorists abducted citizens, destroyed a newly built hospital, and cut off telecommunication lines. Former Real Betis star Finidi George has been named among the all-time African best 11 footballers in the Spanish La Liga in a list compiled by SuperSport and posted along with a video on the Twitter handle. The former winger was the only Nigerian who made the court in a selection largely dominated by the Cameroonians, and Finidi joined the Andalusian club in 1996 from Dutch giant Ajax and was amazing in his first season, helping the side to 4th place on the log. The 49-year-old also helped the Spanish club reach the final of Copa del Rey in his debut season, but his goal was not enough to prevent them from a 3-2 extra-time defeat to Barcelona. Finidi scored an impressive 38 goals in 130 matches during his 4-year spell with the green and white before making a switch to Mallorca. And that's it on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. Thank you for watching.